Let me tell you something, Pack Nation. I need everybody to find a chair right now. Find a chair, sit down, and brace yourself, because I am about to say 3 words that have never, not once, left my mouth in any conversation in my entire life. Ryan was right. I know what I just said. I said it out loud this morning, sitting at the kitchen table, just me and my coffee mug staring at the wall. And Darlene walks in from the other room, puts her hand on my forehead like she is checking for a fever, holds it there for 4 full seconds, and walks back out without a single word. Silent. My 11-year-old comes downstairs and goes, "Daddy, are you okay?" I said, "Sweetheart, Daddy is just having a football moment." She goes, "You have those a lot." I said, "Yes, baby girl, every single day of my life." But here's the thing. Ryan talked about the backup quarterback situation this morning, and I hate that it got inside my head, because once a thought like that gets in there, it does not leave. You keep pulling on the thread, and the more you pull, the worse it looks. Now, Jordan Love. I love this man. What he did last season proved, without any doubt, he belongs at the highest level of this league. The arm, the athleticism, the poise. I am not here to criticize Jordan Love, but listen to me carefully. Love has an injury history. He has missed significant time at the NFL level, and in a 17-game season, on a team that has been barely scraping into the playoffs the last few years, you cannot pretend that does not matter. One bad hit, one awkward sack, one wrong landing on turf. Love is out 4 weeks, maybe 5. Then what? Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder. Pack Nation, I will try to be fair. I watched Ridder play in Atlanta the whole tenure, and I will give him this. The man is an NFL player. He made a roster. That is hard. I cannot throw a spiral. Desmond Ridder has abilities I will never have. But when you ask me whether that man can step into Lambeau in the middle of a tight season and win games for the Green Bay Packers, not survive, win, the answer is no. The ball sails, the pocket collapses, and his feet forget what they are supposed to do. The decision-making under real pressure is not there. That is not me being cruel. That is the tape. Everyone saw it. If Goody goes into September thinking Ridder is an acceptable backup plan, he is pre-forfeiting games. He is walking up to the league office before week 1 and handing them games and saying, "Here, take these. We don't want them anyway." While this team is fighting for its playoff life every single week. Now, I want to introduce you to somebody. My cousin Richie from Appleton. Richie is a big guy. Good heart, terrible football takes. Works at a flooring company up in Appleton, drives a pickup with the Born to Fish bumper sticker. He has acted on exactly 0 times in recorded history. Every holiday, every Christmas dinner, every time we end up in a living room watching football, Richie is in the back corner holding court. "Sal, relax. The backup never plays. Stop catastrophizing and eat your food." I have heard this speech 47 times, and every single time I look across that room and say, "Richie, Richie, I love you. You are blood, but go sit down, because the backup always plays." Every year, there is at least one team whose season hinges on whether the backup can hold things together. Bodies break down. That is football. And if your backup cannot hold the line, you are not just losing a game. You might be losing the entire season. I am not Richie. And you better not be Richie either. Because what I have not told you yet, what we have not even gotten to, is what Goody actually has to do about this. And that part of the conversation is where it gets very interesting. Stay with me, Pack Nation. We are just getting warmed up. All right, where were we? Right, Cousin Richie, pre-forfeited games. Goody with his clipboard. Here is what I need everybody to understand. We are in a window, a real window. Jordan Love in his prime years, a young roster that is starting to cohere, a coaching staff that has figured out what it is doing. This is not a gathering pieces year. This is a team that is supposed to compete for January football. And when you are genuinely in that window, when the lights are on and the clock is ticking, you cannot afford to donate games. Not one. One sling in the standings in October could be the difference between a first-round bye and a brutal road game in a stadium that wants your blood. And that is exactly what Ryan saw this morning. And I hate that Ryan saw it before I did, but he did, and he was right. If Gutekunst walks into this season without solving the backup problem, he is not just making a roster decision. He is making a statement. He is saying those potential love-miss games are acceptable losses. I am not accepting that. I refuse to accept predetermined losses on a roster that was built to do something real. So what is the actual answer? What does Goody have to do? You go find the veteran, a real one, a guy who has played meaningful football, not just held a clipboard and cashed checks for 4 years, a guy who can step in, manage a game, protect the football, and give this team a fighting chance. That is the entire job description. You are not looking for a star. You are not looking for 300 yards. You are looking for a man who will not hand the other team the game when things get difficult in the fourth quarter. Those quarterbacks exist. The league is full of them. Available veterans who have been around the block, who know what a real NFL defense looks like. Pick up the phone and make the call. And look, I know the cap situation is real. I know you cannot spend like a maniac at every position. I am not completely out of my mind, despite what Darlene tells people at church. But here is the thing. You do not need to spend $30 million. You do not need to surrender draft capital. You need one smart, targeted move. One veteran who has been in a real building before and knows how to keep things from falling apart. That is the whole ask. And I will tell you something that is going to circle back around. Stay with me. The other day, Darlene opens my car door and counts 3 separate coffee mugs on the passenger seat. 3 mugs. She goes, Sal, why do you have 3 mugs in here? And I go, because sometimes you forget one and you need a backup. And she goes, like a backup quarterback? And I stood there in my own driveway in my slippers, Pack Nation. 0 words, because Darlene was right. You always need a real backup for everything. End the philosophy lesson. But here is the bottom line. If Ritter is still the number 2 when week 1 kicks off and Love goes down, even for 2 weeks, even for 1 bad month, and we watch Ritter go out there and throw 2 picks in a 13-point loss, do not act surprised. Do not call the radio shows acting shocked. The information was available. The warning was given. Ryan gave it. I am giving it right now while there is still time to fix it. This is a short season. 0 games can be taken for granted. Not one. The margin in this conference is not big enough to absorb donated losses from an unplayable backup. Look, I love this team. I have loved this team my whole life. But loving something means telling it the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable, even when it means agreeing with Ryan on the radio, which, as I explained earlier, nearly required medical attention in my kitchen. The backup quarterback situation is a real problem. Ryan saw it. I see it. Goody needs to see it and act on it before we sit here in November wondering where our season went. Not in this window. Not in this season. Not on my watch, Pack Nation. Get it done, Goody. We are watching every single move. This is Big Sal on the Packernet podcast. Subscribe wherever you listen. leave us a review, and tell Cousin Richie from Appleton I love him, but he needs to keep his takes to himself. Pack Nation!